What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. If you don't like it, you can have that seatbelt.
So I made a big mistake when setting up my Nintendo Switch 2, and it's something that I just realized just now. And I'm sure that quite a few of you have also made the same mistake. But before we get things started, we're still on the road to 20,000 subscribers. If you're into Nintendo Switch 2 content and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And let me know what you guys think in the comments section on the video, and if you actually made the same mistake I did, and if you like the video, also go ahead and hit the thumbs up. So I made a big mistake when setting up my Nintendo Switch 2, and as you guys know, the Nintendo Switch 2 has support for up to 120 frames per second in both handheld and dock mode. It has 120 hertz support, right? So that is going to be, of course, on a game-to-game basis, and we still do not have many games, if at any, that currently, that we know of, support 120 hertz, right? However, when you go to the options and you're setting up your Nintendo Switch 2, you go to the display options, and there's quite a few options there. Now, first things first, regarding HDR support, for whatever reason, by default on the Switch 2, for whatever strange reason, the option is automatically picked to enable HDR or apply or try to apply HDR to all games. Turn that off and pick the option that has it to only compatible software, because if they put all of the games forced through some wannabe HDR layer, it actually makes the games that don't use HDR look worse. So turn that off and pick the compatible software option like I have here in the video. But that's not the point of the video. So 120 hertz support is enabled on the Nintendo Switch 2 screen, and also when playing games in dock mode. Well, under 120 hertz output, it says outputs video at 120 hertz when supported by both TV and software. So these are dock mode settings, right? Says 120 hertz video is supported at 1080p and 1440p TV resolutions. So the way the wording here makes it sound as if when you are playing software that supports 120 hertz, it will be played at either 1080p or 1440p TV resolutions if the game supports it. That's what it looks like it says there, right? And then also should be noted that for those of you that have TVs that support 120 hertz, your TV may or may not support both of those resolutions. So actually, the majority of TVs that have 120 hertz support only support 1080p at 120 hertz, not necessarily 1440p at 120 hertz. Like, for example, the TV that I have supports 1080p 120 frames per second natively, but does not support 1440p at 120 frames per second. In fact, I think it doesn't even support 1440p at 60 natively, or maybe it does, I don't know, but for sure it does not support 1440p at 120 hertz on my TV at all, and that's going to go for a lot of your TVs. So it's good to look up a review on RTings or something to see exactly what are the native supported resolutions for your particular TV model. Now, some of the resolutions can actually be forced to support it, but some won't support it no matter what, right? So, I'm playing actually Street Fighter, right? And something, I don't know, for whatever reason, something told me to press the display button on my TV. And for whatever reason, it said 1080p. And I'm thinking, well, that's weird. Because I picked the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is supposed to display everything on my 4K TV at 4K, regardless of what the native resolution is, right? So I'm like, oh, that's weird, right? Well, turns out that when you pick 120 hertz, the 120 hertz option on your Switch 2, it's automatically going to default to whatever the highest resolution your TV can support at 120 hertz. So if if the highest resolution your TV can do at 120 frames per second is 1080p, that's what it's going to display every game at if you pick this option, regardless of if the game supports 120 hertz or not. So this whole time, because this option was picked, everything I was playing on the Switch 2 was being displayed at 1080p. And I confirmed this by turning this option off and going back and looking at the comparing the UI, and also even comparing Cyberpunk. As soon as I took that off, all of a sudden the UI is being displayed at 4K. As soon as I took that off, Cyberpunk's being displayed at 4K HDR10. So yeah. So pretty much, unless you are playing a game that you know for sure uses 120 frames per second compatible game, and you don't mind playing that game at 1080p or maybe even 1440p, depending on your TV, turn that off, because otherwise it's going to make all of your games that resolution. Crazy, right? So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. That's actually kind of blew my mind. And it's actually, I guess, almost kind of a good thing in a way, because if they looked that good to me at 1080p, they're going to look even better at the actual 4K resolution. But yeah, that kind of tripped me out. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and let me know if you made the same mistake I did.